Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the annual council meeting. So we're going to say prayers and Sue Carpentail will say our prayers. Thank you, Sue.
Heavenly Father, we meet today as a new council with new members, new challenges, new aspirations. For some, this will be the start of a new experience, and for others, the need to learn new ways of working. Help us, please, to adapt to new circumstances and to work for the benefit of all our district. Grant us the grace to listen to new ideas, to capture the fresh perspectives and energy of our new members. Help and encourage those who will take on the responsibilities of leadership in various roles across the council. Whilst we recognise the need to direct the council in its work, keep us mindful at all times of our duty to represent those who elect us and put their trust in us. We ask for your guidance and blessing in the coming months and years of this council, as we face the challenges and decisions that will surely come our way. May we be diligent, tolerant, respectful, and supportive of each other, always remembering that we are here to serve. We pray in the Lord's name. Amen.
Well, once again, welcome to the annual council meeting, the first meeting of this new council. There are some notices to start, so I'll first remind you of some domestic arrangements. Toilets are situated outside the meeting room, opposite the stairs. Cold water is available in the breakout area outside the meeting room. The fire alarm, if the fire alarm should sound, please leave the meeting room by following the fire exit signs and meet on the Ipswich Town Football Club training pitch. Do not re-enter the building until you are told it is safe to do so. Please switch off all mobile phones or turn them to silent. I would like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. The whole of the meeting will be filmed, except where there are confidential or exempt items. If you make a representation to the meeting, you will be deemed by the council to have consented to being filmed. By entering this room, you are also consenting to being filmed by the council and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings for webcasting and/or training purposes. The council, members of the public and the press may record, film, photograph or broadcast this meeting when the public and the press are not lawfully excluded. Finally, can members and officers please ensure that you press the microphone for speaking and turn off when you've finished. So I'll now move to the agenda. And agenda item 1 is the election of chairman of the council. Please can I have nominations for the position of chairman? Do I have a proposer? Councillor Arthey.
I think so. Thank you. I'm pleased to propose Catherine Grandon as chairman of the council. She's previously been vice chairman of the council. I think she'll be perfect for the civic and the ceremonial roles, which I think she will enjoy, and I think she's enjoyed that in the past. When it comes to chairing meetings, luckily I don't think any of us have seen Catherine's steely side yet, but her husband is at the back and I'm sure he'll confirm it exists. He might have been the only person in this room to have been the beneficiary of that so far. But yeah, I'm confident that Catherine will be able to give the post that sort of gravitas that it deserves, and I'm happy to propose her.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, as a member of Cabinet, Catherine has shown that she is diligent and also she speaks her own mind. I'm sure that as chairman of this council, she will be impartial, independent, and also, I think, a very thoughtful chairman, and I'm happy to second her in this position. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations? None. Okay. I'd like to take a vote. All in favour of the proposal? Thank you. It's unanimous. So I declare councillor... It wasn't? Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, it's carried. I'd like to declare councillor Grandin duly elected.
Having been elected to the office of Chair of the Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Suffolk Local Code of Conduct in the performance of my functions in that office. Thank you. I would like to thank the leader, deputy leader and councillors for your nomination to select me as chairman of Babergh District Council. It is an enormous honour. I will do my best to serve our district and my fellow councillors to the best of my ability. Before we continue further, I would like to invite you to join me in thanking Barry for his service to Babergh District Council in his role as chairman and first citizen of the district. He'll be an extremely hard act to follow, and I know you will join me in wishing him well for the future. I would also like to thank Pauline Taylor and the Democratic Services team for their support. I have to confess, my first thought when I was mooted that I might be offered this position was, ooh, a wonderful excuse to purchase a new wardrobe. My second was, oh dear, speeches. Well, on the first point, I have bought a new outfit, and I hope that distracts members from noticing anything lacking in my speech making. Shopping trips aside, I would like to welcome new and returning members to this new term for Babergh District Council. Congratulations on being elected during a time of much change, both locally and nationally in the political arena. I'm delighted to welcome some younger councillors to our chamber. I'm sure that not only will we be a chamber of political balance, but the introduction of new young members will be the start of ensuring a wider demographic of councillors too. I think the time ahead will be challenging for us councillors, and I will do my best to help the business end here in the chamber to move forward in a democratic and efficient way. What kind of chairman will I be? Well, that will be for you to decide. But I plan to encourage all members to take the opportunity to speak and debate.
although a little brevity will be in good order too. In turn, I will expect courtesy, respectfulness, and patience to all. Let us plan for a productive and successful term. One of the aspects that I have been looking forward to in the chairman's role is supporting a local charity. It was not hard for me to choose Hadley Dementia Action Alliance. The group was started in 2014, and there are now nearly 2,000 dementia friends. Most of the local shops and businesses have been trained to become dementia friendly, and there are regular social activities for people living with dementia and their carers, as well as many events to raise awareness and provide assistance. I hope you will support me in helping to raise funds for this cause, which affects so many. So stand by your mailboxes. There'll be invitations to functions, and my party frocks will be out for a good cause. Now, back to the business of the evening. I thank you again and look forward to a productive, constructive year in this chamber. Thank you. So, we'll move on now to item number 2, election of Vice Chairman of the Council. May I have nominations for Vice Chairman? Councillor Ward, proposing?
Yes, I wish to propose Councillor Adrian Osborne for a second term as Vice Chairman of the Council. Adrian has been in this role for the past year and has done it very well, particularly serving as a substitute or deputy for the chairman at external functions. He is a very noble and able representative of this council, and I would like to recommend that he continues as vice chairman. Thank you.
And do we have a seconder? Councillor Carpenter.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on your own appointment. I'm very happy to second Councillor Osborne for Vice Chairman. He's well known across Council for many years, and I know that he will do the job in his inimitable fashion.
Are there any further nominations? Can we vote for those four, Councillor Osborne? That's carried. Thank you. I declare Councillor Adrian Osborne duly appointed.
I, Adrian Osborne, having been elected to the office of Vice Chair of the Council, hereby declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Suffolk Local Code of Conduct in the performance of my function in that office. Thank you, members. Can I take this opportunity of thanking my proposer and seconder, Councillor Ward and Councillor Carpendale. Thank you for those kind words. And I trust, as I did with our former chairman, have the ability to be with you on all your functions within the council. And thank you, members, for my election. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. I've received apologies for absence from Councillor Malvesi and Councillor Owen. Thank you.
BC 19.1, to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on 19th March 2019 for accuracy only. Are there any issues with accuracy? Could I have a proposer? Councillor Osborne. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Hurren, thank you. Can we take a vote for? That's carried, thank you. Item 6, election of leader of the council. May I have nominations for leader of the council? Do I have a proposer? Councillor Arthey? Thank you.
Thank you, yeah, and congratulations on your election. Yes, I have. I've got a proposal for leader, and it's John Ward. As those of you that were here before know, John, in the previous council, brought in a slightly different style of leadership, which was a lot more inclusive. And as the new council moves forward with no overall control, I think that's more important than ever. I've spoken to John at length over the last 2 or 3 weeks, as you probably know, and we have got to a situation where I think we have an agreement to work together to a mutual arrangement that's to the benefit of the people of the district, our communities, and for the good of this council moving forward. And I have every confidence that John will be able to deliver for all of our benefits in the coming year.
Thank you, Councillor Arthey. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Beer.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and congratulations. Yes, I would like to second John Ward for this position. We do need to have some continuity, and I'm pleased to hear that the leader of the Independents and him have been talking well, and that you've already started work, and there's an understanding going on, and hopefully that will continue. And so I have great pleasure in seconding the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations?
Sorry, I don't have a nomination, but I would like to make some comments, if that's okay.
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you. It was just to say that the Green Group won't be supporting Councillor Ward's nomination as leader. Nothing personal against Councillor Ward, but we don't support the deal that has been done regarding cabinet seats, and hence that's why we won't be supporting. The reason we don't support that is because simple maths, really. We have 4 Green members out of 32 councillors. That's 1 in 8. There are 8 members on the cabinet. By my maths, it would seem right and appropriate that we have a Green member on that cabinet. I have in talks suggested that if we want to include the Lib Dems, who are a smaller group than the Green Group, on the cabinet, there's no reason why we couldn't move to a 9-member cabinet. That was not seen appropriate for whatever reason. I think it's worth noting that the population of Babergh voted 23% of the people who voted Green, and they voted for a reason. That's nearly 1 in 4, because they wanted to see some green policies. And I think a lot of our residents will be shocked that Greens are being excluded from the cabinet. And just one further thing to say, I mean, it's been put to me that, well, it's only for a year, the arrangement, and, you know, we can all change after a year. Well, maybe, but maybe not. You know, people have a tendency, once they're in a job, to stay in there. And there is no mechanism built into this deal to rotate the leadership, which I think would be a fair and sensible arrangement, to actually build into the arrangement a way to rotate the leader every year.
Thank you, Councillor
We don't have that
Lindsay.
mechanism. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I'd like to move on now. We'd like to take a vote now for the election of leader of the council. Could you please vote for our proposed leader, Councillor Ward? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. This council, congratulations. Now on to item number 7, paper BC 19.2, announcement from the chairman and leader. I refer you to paper BC 19.2, simply to be noted.
Madam Chair, another point of order. Do we not have to elect a deputy leader? Isn't that? No?
Could you advise?
No, it's... Under the strong leader model, it's up to the leader of the council to appoint his own deputy. Thank you.
So moving on, I invite the leader to make his announcements. Thank you, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I wish to address the vote that's just been taken. I wish to thank you all for your support in electing me leader of Babergh District Council again. It is an enormous privilege and, as I have found out over the past year and a half, hard work. But it is an interesting and rewarding role. We can make a real difference for our communities here. We provide many of the services that our residents need and use every day, and they rely on us to ensure that we keep delivering these, whatever difficulties we face. I made a number of promises when I was elected leader at the beginning of last year, and I can honestly say that I believe that I have kept to them. Key amongst these was to be as inclusive as possible, and to this end, I brought Councillor Davis into the Cabinet and proposed Councillor McCraw as Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. I am mindful that the Conservatives are no longer in a majority, but we are the largest group and can and should play a part in the administration of the Council. Over the past year and a half, I have demonstrated that I have the willingness and ability to reach out across the Chamber, and I am looking forward to working with all groups in one way or another for the benefit of Babergh as we start our new term. The Cabinet will reflect the fact that a mutual arrangement has been agreed to enable us to work together. It will draw on the best talent and experience in this chamber to enable us to address the tasks ahead of us. I think that this will be good for the Council, as we will need broad support for some of our more pressing challenges, particularly getting our new joint local plan completed without further delay, and also ensuring that we have a balanced budget for 2020 to 2021 and a plan to close the gap in the years after that. I am in a position to announce the Cabinet now, and so I'll be making the following appointments. I will retain the finance portfolio, and Councillor Jan Osborne will retain the housing portfolio. Councillor Holt will be the Cabinet Member for Economic Growth. Councillor Malvisi will be the Cabinet Member for the Environment. Councillor Arthey will be the Cabinet Member for Planning and also the Deputy Leader. Councillor Davis will be the Cabinet Member for Communities. Councillor Parker will be the Cabinet Member for Customers, Digital Transformation and Improvement. This is the former organisational delivery portfolio. The new name, agreed with Mid-Suffolk, really reflects what this portfolio is all about. Councillor Busby will be the Cabinet Member for Assets and Investments. The communications portfolio that I created last year has achieved its purpose. A number of new communications initiatives were created thanks to Councillor Grandin. These are now regular features and working well. It is still a work in progress and further improvements will be made, but this function will be firmly within the leader's role going forward. Clearly, the administration's programme cannot be aligned with the Conservative manifesto, but there are many promises in that document that would have widespread agreement and support, I'm sure. The Cabinet will, over the next few weeks, work out its own programme, drawing from proposals from all of its members. At the beginning of last year, I listed a number of specific projects that I wish to see completed or in progress. Many of these have been achieved, but there are still some that have suffered disappointing delays. Those that are well underway in delivering include our council house building programme, the redevelopment of Courts Lane with the planning application that has been approved, the improvements to the Kingfisher and Hadley leisure centres, and our regeneration plans for Sudbury. Following the completion of the Vision for Prosperity, this was a timely announcement given the fact that the government has also recently announced the Future High Streets Fund. And that will be the basis, the vision document will be the basis for our funding. bid for funding. And also the Hamilton Road prospectus has generated significant interest. The Sport and Enterprise Zone, which is now seeing a lot of activity with the development of the site for the first major occupant. And finally, our customer service. This has improved greatly with 3 face-to-face access points and a new online customer account portal. And we now have an excellent performance monitoring system in place that reports on all aspects of the council's business. But there are those where we do need to apply more focus and urgency. There are still some conditions to be discharged before work can commence at the HMS Ganges site, drainage being the main one. Work on the Spine Road is expected to start in early spring next year, and following that, the first phase of 30 dwellings hopefully will commence. I did say at the start of last year that I hoped we would have projects underway for Bellevue Park in Sudbury, for both the land and the house. A lot of progress has been made in securing a much-needed hotel, but this is clearly a very controversial and emotive issue. We will need to think carefully about this, but I do want to see no further delay. And lastly, we do have 3 major industrial sites that need long-term secure futures. The former BX Plastics factory at Catterwade, Phillips Event in Glemsford, and Delphi in Sudbury. Babergh must do its utmost to work with other agencies to get the outcomes we desire for these. I've only listed a few things, but we have a lot to do, and it will, I'm sure, be a busy and exciting time. I know that officially Babergh is now classified as no overall control. However, this should really be, we are all in control together. The will is clearly there to make this arrangement work, so let's do it. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Moving on to designation of committees and joint committees. To appoint the following committees and joint committees: Babergh Overview and Scrutiny Committee, Planning Committee, Babergh Licensing and Regulatory Committee, Joint Audit and Standards Committee, Joint Appointments Committee. Could I have a proposer to appoint all the committees listed on the agenda? Oh, Councillor Busby, thank you. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Beer, thank you. Can we vote? Oh, all those in favour? Thank you. Motion carried. Item 9. BC 19.3, Political Balance and Composition of Committees. I refer you to paper BC 19.3 and appendices A and B in the tabled pack. I would like to invite Jan Robinson, Deputy Monitoring Officer, to introduce paper BC 19.3. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to comply with the provisions of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989, which require a local authority to review the allocation of seats to political groups at every annual meeting of the Council, or as soon as practical after that meeting. The report also seeks the Council approval of the composition of committees, which also must be agreed at the annual meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a proposer? Councillor Ward, thank you. And could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Busby, thank you. Can we take a vote in favour of the paper? Thank you. That's carried again. That's carried, thank you. Okay, item 10, election of chairs and vice chairs of committees. So we're going to elect chair and vice chair for the following committees and joint committees: Babergh Overview and Scrutiny Committee, Planning Committee, Babergh Licensing and Regulatory Committee, Joint Audit and Standards Committee, Joint Appointments Committee. May I have nominations for the chair of Overview and Scrutiny Committee, please? Councillor Arthey, thank you.
I'm getting the hang of this now. Yes, I'd like to propose Alistair. Alistair has previously been Vice Chairman and Chairman of the committee. He was Vice Chairman when Babergh District was Chairman. And during that period, I have to say, they renewed my faith in the scrutiny function. I think they did an excellent job. Alistair went on to chair it himself, and everybody does things differently, but my view is that Alistair has transformed the way that we deal with scrutiny, and I'm confident in the fact that he will be able to chair this committee and move things forward, properly exercise the scrutiny function. I'm looking forward to a slightly more themed approach to scrutinising issues, and I commend to you, Alistair.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder to Councillor McCraw, please? Councillor Ward, thank you.
Just echo what Councillor Arthey said.
Take a vote for... Oh, sorry. Are there any other nominations? Thank you. So, right, all those in favour? That's carried, thank you. May I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Overview and Scrutiny Committee? Councillor Ward.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Ayres to continue in the role of Vice Chair of this committee. She's proved an able deputy to Councillor McCraw, and she will provide that consistency and continuity going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor McCraw.
Echoing what's already been said, I'd like to nominate or second the nomination of Councillor Ayres as Vice Chair. We've worked together before and I look forward to doing so again.
Are there any other nominations, please? No other nominations. May we take a vote, please, for Councillor Ayres? Carried. Thank you. May I have nominations for the Chair of Planning Committee? Councillor Ward.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Beer to continue in the role of Chair of the Planning Committee. I know that he's been in this position for a long time, but I believe at this stage, while we're waiting for our new joint local plan to be approved and implemented, we need a wise owl in the chair of this committee to see us through what could be an uncertain few months, as we may face challenges from developers who may wish to test our existing planning policy, and somebody of the calibre of Councillor Beer, who knows the function of this committee, who knows planning inside out, it would be prudent for us to retain him for that purpose. Thank you.
And could I have a seconder for Councillor Beer's appointment? Thank you, Councillor Holt. Nominations. Thank you. May we take a vote, please, for Councillor Beer?
Those against?
And those against, please.
Okay, that's carried.
Right, carried. Thank you.
Councillor Beer wants to just say a word.
Oh, Councillor Beer.
Can I say a few words? Usually it's customary after one's been elected just
Please,
to thank those
proceed.
people that voted for me and my colleagues behind me, and certainly the one across the floor, and also noted the one who voted against me. But I would just like to say to those members opposite that I did actually listen this morning to Councillor Sue Carpendale's words this evening, and I'll certainly take them on board, or at least try to. Thank you.
Now, may I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Planning Committee, please? Oh, Councillor Arthey, thank you.
That last one got you worried, didn't it, Peter? Okay. I have pleasure in proposing Stephen Plum for the position of Vice Chairman. I will be absolutely honest to say that I would rather be proposing him as Chairman of the committee, but I do accept that a year as Vice Chairman will be good experience for him. And to Peter Beard's credit, he'll be an excellent Chairman to be Vice Chairman too, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to Stephen gaining the experience, and I'm happy to propose him for the Vice Chairmanship.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for Councillor Plum, please? Councillor Davis, thank you. Any other nominations? Right, can we take a vote, please, for Councillor Plum? All those in favour? Thank you, carried. May I have nominations for the Chair of Licensing and Regulatory Committee, please? Councillor Holt.
Yes, I'd like to propose Mark Newman. I'm sure he'll be a very suitable person to take this role, and I'm sure they'll find it very interesting.
Thank you. And seconder, please. Councillor Beer, thank you. Thank you. Any
yes,
other?
I'll be pleased to second him, sorry.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Thank you. No other nominations. Can we take a vote on this, please? Those in favour? Thank you. Any against? Thank you. Carried. May I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Licensing and Regulatory Committee? Oh, sorry.
I'd just like to thank you all very much, and I look forward to the challenge.
May I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Licensing and Regulatory Committee, please? Councillor Hurren.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Sue Carpendale, please. She's very experienced, fair, level-headed, and everyone's favourite councillor, so she'll do the role extremely well, I feel. I'm very happy to propose her.
Could I have a seconder for Sue Carpendale, please?
You want, I'll just say one little thing, and that is that Sue and I were both elected at the same time 28 years ago, and I hope she won't mind me saying that she was obviously a much younger lady at the time, and she now has sufficient gravitas, I think, to be able to deal with this sort of role. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Thank you. Can we take a vote for Sue Carpendale as Vice Chair?
That's carried.
That's carried. Thank you. May I have nominations for the Chair of Joint Audit and Standards Committee, please? Councillor Sue Carpendale.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll use my gravitas to propose Councillor Hurren for this role. He is an experienced councillor, and he already has a significant track record working on standards issues, so I'm very happy to propose him as Chair.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Cresswell, thank you.
I'll second that, yeah.
Any other nominations? Thank you. No other nominations. Can we vote for Councillor Curran, please? That's carried. Thank you. May I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Joint Audit and Standards Committee?
No, we don't need to do that, sorry, Chair.
Oh, don't I?
Just to clarify, we don't need a vice chair for the Joint Audit and Standards Committee because we actually share chairman, so if one can't make it, the other one would. Ms Suffolk's chairman. Thank you.
Right. So where are we now here? This one. Chair of Joint Appointments Committee. Thank you. May I have nominations for the Chair of Joint Appointments Committee, please? Councillor Osborne.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. May I add my congratulations to those of others tonight. It gives me pleasure to nominate John Ward for the chair of this particular committee. Thank you.
Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Arthey, thank you.
That can only make sense because the committee is made up of the leaders of the three largest groups on each council. And as leader of this council, it would obviously make sense for John to chair that on our behalf.
Are there any other nominations? No. May we vote for Councillor Ward, please? Carried. Thank you. May I have nominations for the Vice Chair of Joint Appointments Committee? No? That's still on here? No?
No, you don't need.
Right, we don't need that. Thank you. So moving on to item 11, BC 19.4, appointments to outside bodies for 2019-20. I refer you to paper BC 19.4 and Appendix A in the tabled pack. I would like to invite the leader to introduce paper BC 19.4 and move the recommendation in the report.
Thank you, Chairman. We have to appoint quite a number of representatives on various outside bodies. As a result of the election, there have been significant changes to the makeup of this council, and so it has been necessary to replace quite a few people and also to make some further changes. You have at Appendix A the current thinking and proposals for names as representatives of these bodies. There are still one or two gaps, and I am still working with the leaders of the other groups to fill those gaps. But we have essentially the vast majority of the names in place. And so consequently, I wish to move the recommendation at 2.1 that the named councillors be appointed to the outside bodies as detailed in this appendix, and that we can follow up with the remaining few vacancies as and when we've got the relevant names in place. Thank you.
None has taken the place on Western Suffolk Community Safety Partnership, which was a to be confirmed appointment at the end. So could I have a seconder for this proposal, please? Yes, please do.
Chair, for the Greenways Countryside project, it's traditional for the two councillors that represent Pinewood to take the two places on this. As I'm no longer on it, I think Zach and Rick should take the two places. I'm quite happy to hand over my spade.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to accept that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep, happy to accept as well.
Thank you, that seems fine. Thank you.
Just need a seconder now.
Could I have a seconder now, please, unless there's any other further comments?
I'm just scampering through this, and I've noticed that the Ipswich Strategic Planning Area Board has Lee Parker without substitute, and I can confirm, I think, that I can be his substitute on that, if that meets with everybody's approval.
That's being noted. Thank you.
Can I add again? I've been asked to do a few substitutions here. I understand that the Joint Waste Management Board, which has Liz Malvisi as its member, I understand that I might be required to substitute on that, which kind of fits in with the Suffolk Waste Partnership role.
That's being noted. Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, I think actually earlier on this afternoon we were talking about the flood. Where is it? Sorry, just bear with me while I find it. Suffolk Flood Risk Management Committee. We were talking about having Councillor Davis as the representative and Councillor Gould as the substitute. Is that acceptable?
No, I think, sorry to confuse the issue, I think we've got Councillor McCraw as, and Councillor Gould. If that's acceptable to you, Leader, of course.
Absolutely, yes, of course.
That's been noted. Thank you. Anything? Any other comments or names to be added? Otherwise, if not, can we have a seconder, please? Councillor Horan, thank you. Everyone content? Can we move to the vote then, please? All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Right. Item 12, appointment of councillors to the Shared Revenue and Partnership Committee. In accordance with the joint arrangements established with Mid Suffolk District Council and Ipswich Borough Council, Council is asked to appoint 2 cabinet members and 2 substitutes to serve on the committee for the current municipal year. The political balance rules do not apply to Babergh's appointees. May I have nominations, please? Councillor Ward.
Yes, I wish to nominate Councillor Jan Osborne and Councillor Derek Davis as the representatives on the Shared Revenue Partnership, with Councillor Sue Ayres and Councillor Lee Parker as the substitutes.
Thank you. Could I have a proposer then, please? A seconder, sorry. A seconder, please. Councillor Arthey, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, carried. Appointments to the Suffolk Joint Standards Board. In accordance with the joint arrangements established with Mid Suffolk District Council and Suffolk County Council, Council is asked to appoint 3 councillors to serve on the board for the current municipal year. The political balance rules do not apply to Babergh's appointees, who cannot be the chairman of the council or members of the cabinet. The nominations have been tabled. Could I have a proposer? Councillor Carpendale, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Ward, thank you.
All those in favour?
All those in favour?
That's carried.
Carried, thank you. Appointments to the Joint Gypsy and Travellers Steering Group. Council is asked to appoint 4 councillors to the Joint Gypsy and Travellers Steering Group. I believe some nominations have been tabled. Are there any further nominations?
If that's the case, go for a proposer then. Yeah.
Could I have a... Councillor Lindsay.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Gould, please.
Do you have a seconder, Councillor Lindsay?
Yeah, John Ward.
Councillor Ward, thank you.
Any more nominations?
Any more nominations?
Take them as all.
Right.
Take them all
So
together.
we'll take them as a group. Thank you. Could I have a...
All those in favour?
yeah, all those in favour. Thank you.
That's carried.
Thank you. That's carried. Appointments to council working groups. I refer you to the proposed appointments in the tabled pack. Are there any more appointments? Right, could I have a proposer, please? Councillor Jan Osborne. And a seconder? Councillor Carpendale, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Right, I think we have come to the end of our business for the evening. I declare this meeting. Councillor Davis, I believe you have something you'd like to say.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, for your indulgence. I'd just like to congratulate both the leader, John Ward, and the deputy leader, Clive Arthey, on making this happen. It's not been easy, and I know the amount of work they put in over the last couple of weeks to try and get everything sorted. I understand there'll be dissenters, totally understand that, but I believe that this is the best interest of Babergh. This mutual arrangement may not last, and there may be some disagreements. In fact, I'm sure there will be. But it's got us off to a fantastic start. We've hit the ground running. We've got continuity. And I'd like to congratulate both Councillor Ward and Councillor Arthey.
Yep.
Thank you for your comments. So, I now declare this meeting closed at 6:21 p.m. Thank you for this evening.